In my imagination, I can just see Treyarch having this meeting about designing Black Ops 3 and wondering how can we make this the most fast-paced Call of Duty game yet. So someone from the design team gets up and says, okay, what slowed down Black Ops 2? Well, our classic 3-lane maps, we always have this third lane that's kind of out of the way and is mostly just for trying to flank around the rest of the map. But when people use that, they go really slow and that slows the game down. So they start looking at ways other games have dealt with this sort of thing. You know, you got your teleporters and man cannons in Halo, not really a Call of Duty thing. What about moving sidewalks? It would just be pedestrian, wouldn't it? Then they hit on the idea of using wall running. So you're going faster while you're wall running, kind of like Titanfall did, and they'll put the wall running spots along the flanking routes, and that'll make it so you can flank around the map faster. The second thing that really slowed Black Ops 2 down was you get in a situation where you know a guy is behind some cover, and your only option is to just strafe sideways and run around it, and he'll know exactly where you're coming from. Of course, that cuts both ways, but still, clearing corners gets really slow when your options are really just move left or right around that cover. Okay, so you do have the option of jumping around the corner or drop shotting as you come around, but still, it's just a left-right thing, really. You could argue that's a key element of the modern military shooter as we know it, but Black Ops 3 is going in a different direction, up. And finally, the third thing that I think really slowed Black Ops 2 down was ladders. As you're going up a ladder, you disarm yourself. Not as much as you do in Battlefield series, where you're completely disarmed until you're all the way off the ladder and then it points you in a specific direction, but still, it slowed Call of Duty down some. So by adding the wall running and double jumping into Call of Duty, they're trying to get rid of these things that slowed the game down. Of course, there are going to be some things that take some getting used to, like robot arms and different control schemes where jump is mapped onto something important, and you can't remember what to melee a guy with. I need one of those elite controllers, especially if I'm going to do the whole slide thing all the time. Or if I want to have a hope of when I'm wall running and I run into a guy on the other team going the other way, or even my own teammate, and getting a kill and then jumping off the wall, jumping back on and still living. Because right now just running into someone else on one of those flanking routes on the walls, over the pits, it just means death for both people. But that's sort of a theme for Call of Duty, isn't it? Everybody dies! And that's just one of the ways in which the double jumping wall running thing doesn't really play out like Titanfall. The wall running is more of a flanking thing, trying to move around the outside of the map, rather than a way to move around all of the map. In Titanfall, wall running helps you build up speed, and speed is one of the ways you can stay alive. In Black Ops 3, it's more about just continuing to move around the map, clear space. If you stay still, someone's likely to come up behind you. If you keep moving forward, it's harder for that to happen. Like I said, fast-paced, really appeals to people who always feel like they need to be doing something. At the same time, that means grenades with lengthy fuses, like 3 seconds, that's an eternity to wait in this game unless you're sitting on an objective. But I suppose that's to be expected. Treyarch has pushed this no camping thing. You got your ghosts where you need to be moving in order for it to keep you off the UAV in Black Ops 2. This just seems like more of that same philosophy. It means that the push into their spawn, try and kill them all, and then once the spawn flips, just turn around and try and do it again. That's been Black Ops 1 and 2, and it's definitely going to be in 3. At first, the characters, special weapons, or abilities just seem like they're kind of stolen from Destiny, but no, I like how they finally have a way to get a lot of these special weapons that they had just been trying to mix into care packages into more regular use, because they are, if ridiculous, quite a bit of fun. I'm sure they're kind of overpowered, a way for noobs to get easy kills, but, you know, it's Call of Duty, everybody dies, and at least they take some amount of skill. Reminds me of Modern Warfare 2, where the weapons were just so powerful, you just fall over dead at any instant. You just realize everybody else on the map probably has a ridiculously powerful weapon too. But so do I, so it's okay. What's bad, and that they somehow did not learn from in Black Ops 2, is that these hellstorms and lightning strikes and all this air support stuff, it really sucks. It's not fun. Yes, some guy pulls a trigger from up in the air, and he gets a bunch of kills for free, just because he got on his streak and he had that equipped. But it's not fun to play against. The counterplay is abysmal. At least in Black Ops 2, you could see it on the radar and kind of do something about it. Here, no. And the announcements, well, you know, we know how the announcer goes, and then there's trying to watch the little cards on the left, but a lot of times that, oh, somebody took a capture point, great, I didn't need to know that, but then there's, oh, someone's called in a hellstorm, maybe I should try and wall run to get away from it, I'll be in midair when it comes down, but they're heat seeking, so that doesn't actually save you. It's stupid. Look, I enjoy the kill streaks and getting kills too, but this is just silly. It's not fun. I don't enjoy using it. And yet, the team chat, if you get a bunch of kills with your Hellstorm, your teammates will congratulate you.
Good job.
Gee, thanks. Could you sound more condescending, please? So it's fast-paced small maps, fast flanking routes, lots of very lethal air support. So, yeah, it's one of the most spawn campy, crazy, just die as soon as possible Call of Duty games I think I've played. Maybe it'll be a lot of fun to roll with a team and stomp some noobs into the ground, but being on the receiving end is less fun than, well, I think I've ever seen it. Unfortunately, part of the problem is some questionable matchmaking. Hopefully that's improved since the beta, but still I had some games where teams wouldn't change, but I'd go from doing very poorly to doing very well, just with a different host. I had one game that was entirely 3v3, no one else joined, don't know why, that was kinda slow and a little boring. Then I had a 5v7, classic Call of Duty team matchup, and that was not too much fun. I don't know why they still haven't managed to fix that. Which might be a little less confusing if I hadn't also had my party split between teams, so I don't know what's going on. Something I miss from previous Call of Duty games is being able to easily tell which faction a player is on just by looking at their character model. I kind of wonder how that plays out with the hardcore player base, or if, Cold-Blooded takes the red name tag off. It could be kind of annoying. You find yourself just, checking teammates by firing a few rounds into them occasionally. But you combine that with you're trying to move around the map quickly, your teammates are moving around the map quickly, the enemies are all trying to move around the map normally, the spawns are going everywhere because of that. Having a UAV up is really useful. Having a counter UAV up is really useful. Shooting down the enemies, UAVs and counter UAVs are really important. The standard lock-on launcher has 2 rockets, but it's also free fire, so I think we're going to see a lot of these things. And I also get the feeling that having a really good sense of the spawns is going to become an incredibly important part of this game, just because otherwise you're going to have a hard time predicting where most of the enemy players are. It's not that the maps are so big you won't find them, you're just likely to be looking in the wrong direction when you do. But that's fairly typical of COD, I just think it's more the case here. I suppose it's probably me, but I no longer look forward to gaining XP, leveling up, unlocking stuff, prestiging. I've done it enough times in Call of Duty games, it doesn't mean anything to me anymore. I just want to play and have fun. And so the idea that a whole bunch of stuff is going to be locked behind XP requirements or other challenges, especially when it's just normal parts of the game, makes me less interested in playing a new Call of Duty. And there's also, I gotta be careful how I put this, Black Ops 3, there's a lot of random stuff that can happen, and playing smart just means increasing the odds that things will go well for you. Of course, that's normal Call of Duty. Things are kind of random, everybody can die really fast. I got a bit used to Battlefield Hardline, where playing smart meant seeing a little bit more immediate results in terms of how well I did. I kind of worry the transition back to COD could be very frustrating. The beta did have a fair amount of freezing. I had some frame drops on evac, maybe that was somehow related to some latency issues. Again, matchmaking still questionable. A lot of this other little stuff, I'm gonna wait and see how the game does when it comes out. It's not a day one purchase for me. If you want my opinion on whether or not Black Ops 3 is going to do well, I don't know. I thought Hardline and Titanfall were going to do great. I mean, they still did okay. You can still play them, it's fine. But they didn't really take off like I would have thought they did. And then, hey, I thought Destiny was kind of going to peter out by now. But no, it's still going strong. So my opinion is not worth a whole lot here. But the way I ended my final demo play session doesn't really make me excited for the game. I mean, I've heard of rage quits before, where you're mad at yourself, you're mad at your team, you're mad at the enemies, you're mad at the game, just the game, and nothing else. But in this case, it was just apathy. I didn't care. just, randomly dying didn't seem to interest me. And sure, I could try and play smarter, but it didn't really make much of a difference. And so when I respawned right into a rolling thunder at the end of a round, and the fact that the round ended was the only thing that saved me from an immediate death off my spawn, I just thought, you know what, I don't need to be playing this game right now, I don't feel like it, and I just don't care. Just an apathy quit. That's probably why I waited until the game was about to come out before realizing that I had a bunch of beta footage on my hard drive and I should just go ahead and make my video. Maybe that's not entirely fair to Black Ops 3. I really haven't been playing many video games at all recently. Just haven't felt like it. At the same time, I think this is not the game that right now makes me want to suddenly turn my Xbox on and play a whole bunch. That does explain the lack of videos. If I'm not playing games, I'm probably not making videos. So I want to thank those of you who are still following the channel, even though I'm really not posting much. At the same time, that's not going to change unless I start playing a lot of games. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you found the video interesting, entertaining, and I'll see you later.